Welcome to the AI Queens podcast, the show where women entrepreneurs learn to ditch the overwhelm, embrace AI, and build businesses fit for royalty. I'm Erika Stanley, your host and tech expert, here to deliver tools, tips, and actionable strategies to help you scale smarter. Let's get to it. Picture this. It's Labor Day weekend. While everyone else is scrambling back from vacation, panicking about their Q4 content, you're sipping something cold because you've got 20 plus story-driven emails locked and loaded. Welcome back to the AI Queens podcast. I'm Erika Stanley, and today I'm giving you my 9-week email empire framework, the system that's going to turn your summer downtime into your most strategic business move of the year. Here's the deal. We're in July. Yes, it's already July. And also, how is it already July? But that means that we've got about 9 weeks until Labor Day, which is just enough time to build an email system that writes itself using the stories you're already living and the AI tools you're already learning. This episode is for entrepreneurs who are tired of staring at blank email drafts, sick of sounding like everyone else, and ready to turn what they already know into emails that connect, convert, and run without any babysitting. Let's build your email empire. Before we dive into the framework, let's talk about the 3 fails I see over and over again with email marketing. First, starting from scratch every week. You sit down thinking, what am I going to say this time? It's Groundhog Day with anxiety. Second, tips and templates that all sound the same. Look, your audience is totally burned out on 5 ways to do this because they're too busy to implement it anyway. And third, you're ignoring your gold. Those LinkedIn posts that got a ton of comments, the Instagram stories that filled up your DMs, those are your content goldmine. Here's what I know. The best emails don't teach, they connect. And connection happens through stories, not through bullet points. Quick story. I was at a retreat in New York last year with Laura Belgray, the queen of copy. She said something that rewired the way I was thinking about things. Your story is the strategy. Now, most of us share personal stories that don't connect to business, or we create strategic content that's boring as hell. But there's power in combining the two. So I created my strategic storytelling formula. On one side, you've got your content pillars, your expertise, your unique point of view, your services. Then on the other side, you've got your audience's pain points, their objections, but also their beliefs and their desires. And in the middle, that's the story, the bridge. That's the connection that you can make with strategic stories. So as we're building, all of your great emails are going to follow this flow. You're going to hook them in with your story, the moment that happened to you. Then you're going to connect it to them, what this means for your audience. You're going to give them something actionable, one thing that they can do or how they can think differently. And then you're going to make a soft invitation, how you can help them go deeper. And we're going to do all of this with AI. Let me show you this in action. If you're a frequent listener to this podcast, you've heard me tell this story before. I was at the climbing gym and totally failing getting up this one route. I could have stayed with the easy climbs, but I kept trying the harder one. So while I was sitting there waiting for my turn, it hit me. This is exactly what we do as business owners. We can stay comfortable or we can push ourselves towards growth. So that's the story, right? The connection is that my audience struggles with playing it safe in their business. The actionable insight, I'm getting them to ask themselves, am I choosing comfort or growth? And then the soft invitation that I made at the end, if you're ready to choose growth, here's how I can help, right? So the story becomes the strategy. That's the magic. These stories are already happening. You just need a way to grab them and turn them into something usable. Let's get into the framework. This is 9 weeks, which feels like a long time, but I want to break it into three-week sprints of just a couple of hours per week so that by Labor Day, you'll have a complete 9-week email empire ready to run on autopilot. And we're using the summer slow season when our clients are out of town and we're getting out of office responders. We're using this time to build this. That way you're ready to go this fall. All right, starting off with weeks 1 through 3 and why it matters. You are building your story bank. This is the foundation of every email you're going to write. Most people think they don't have stories, but I promise you, you do. They're happening all around you every single day. In week 1, you're going to start with your story audit. This week is about building your raw inventory, but not from scratch, not with just a blinking cursor and a blank brain, but by reclaiming what's already yours, the content, the conversations, and the tiny moments that have sparked real moments for you. You know, the Instagram stories that got a bunch of replies, or the off the cuff posts on LinkedIn that kind of felt like you were climbing up on your soapbox, wondering, is this even appropriate for LinkedIn? The client questions that you continue to answer over and over. All of that is story gold. So I want you to start here. Revisit all those Instagram stories, LinkedIn posts, blogs, and emails that got replies. Look for moments that made you pause, laugh, cringe, and don't worry about editing. Just drop those into a doc, or for me, I use my Apple Notes app. Week 2, this is your strategic story sort. This is where all of your scattered content is going to become a goldmine. You're going to list your content pillars, your services, your point of view, your values, your brand voice, all of that stuff that makes you you, right? Then I want you to map out your audience's pain points. What are their firmly held beliefs? What are their objections, their hesitations? But also, what are their passions? What do they get excited about, right? Then you're going to start matching up some of the stories to the topics that hit on both sides. So for me, this is like a story about when I had a busted front door with a broken pane of glass. And it's just a little like 4 inch by 4 inch pane of glass. So instead of fixing it properly, I taped a Tupperware lid over it. Now it looks ridiculous, but it works for now. That moment turned into a story about prioritizing what matters in business, because sometimes good enough really is good enough, especially when other things deserve your energy more. It wasn't pretty, but it worked. That story became a whole email about prioritizing what matters in business. The metaphor basically wrote itself. Moving on to week 3. This is where we're going to bring in AI to help you connect the dots. You've got your stories, you know your expertise, you understand your audience. Now, let's start to make those connections super clear. What I want you to do is drop every story into ChatGPT or Claude, and I'm going to put the full prompt templates for this in the AI Queen Society resources section for paid members. But here's the basic structure. You're going to tell AI your role, your audience, your story, their pain points, your content pillars, and your brand voice. Then you're going to ask for 3 different angles for how this story could connect to your audience's challenges. The AI is going to show you the connections you've never even seen before. Like my climbing gym story could have been about taking risks, pushing comfort zones, or persistence in the face of failure. So I could technically get 3 different emails from that one story. So that is your first 3 week sprint. Now it's time for sprint 2, weeks 4 through 6. This is your email sequence creation sprint. Now that you've collected and categorized all of your stories, it's time to put them to work. This is where everything is going to start to click into place. You're going to take those story sparks from sprint 1 and turn them into emails that build connection, trust, and momentum. You're going to build 3 different core sequences: a welcome sequence, a nurture sequence, and a sales sequence. And at the end of this, you're going to have over 20 emails that you can put into your email automation system. So, week 4, you're going to start with your welcome series, and this will be 5 to 7 emails. This is your nice to meet you sequence. Every email is going to need a story as its backbone, right? So, email 1 will be your origin story, why you do what you do. Email 2, your biggest lesson learned, right? This is going to help to build credibility. Email 3, your transformation story. This is what's going to show them what's possible. Number 4, Your values in action. This is going to help build connection and get people thinking like, wow, I really want to work with her. And then email 5, this is where you introduce your signature framework and establish your expertise. Now, remember, for each of these emails, you're not writing from scratch, right? You're repurposing your stories, those LinkedIn posts, those Instagrams. Like that origin story might already be sitting in a voice note that you dictated to yourself last fall. So I want you to really go through all of your old notes and then start to plug these things in. All right. So moving on to week 5, this is your nurture sequence, and this will be 8 to 10 emails. I want you to transform your most asked questions into story driven emails. So, what are the things that people are constantly asking you over and over, either clients or prospective clients, when they're asking, like, what do you do? And there's all of these, like, oh, that's interesting. What does that mean? Those, those can turn into your nurture sequence. And I want each email to follow the same structure that we talked about, right? So, the story, what it means for them, an actionable insight, and then a soft invitation to work with you. So, when you're ready to turn those stories into the actual emails, you'll use AI with the right prompts to help structure them. You're going to hook them in with the story, connect it to them, give them something actionable, and then a soft invitation. And you're going to want to write this in your brand voice, keep it conversational, and sound like you. Again, I'll have all of these prompts ready to copy and paste in my Substack for my AI Queens members. Moving on to week 6, this is your sales sequence. You're going to write 5 to 6 emails, and this is only going to take you a couple of hours because you've already done so much of the foundational work, right? These are the emails that will naturally lead to your offers. You're sharing transformation stories, both yours and your clients, that show what's possible. So each email is going to stand alone, but together they're going to help build a case for why someone would work with you, why they would choose you specifically rather than all of the other people that do something similar to what you do, right? So the big difference between these and the nurture emails is these stories will specifically showcase transformations, results, and breakthroughs. You're not just going to connect with their pain points, you're going to show the other side, right? Like what happens when someone gets unstuck, what changes when they invest in themselves, and what's possible with the right support, meaning working with you, right? So the key shift here is that you're moving from here's what you can do to here's what becomes possible when you do it and here's how I can help you get there. Now, weeks 7 through 9, this is your last sprint. This is the home stretch, right? This is all about making it work seamlessly. These are not just emails, right? Like this is a whole system that's going to work whether you're at your desk or on vacation. I want your summer this year to be super breezy, which is why we're taking this 1 week at a time. All right, week 7, subject line mastery. Now, your emails are only as powerful as your subject lines because if no one opens them, no one's going to read them. So the goal here, it's not clickbait, it's curiosity. It's getting them to want to click. You want subject lines that sound like a human wrote them in a hurry, not like a formal newsletter that you'll just like circle back to later. So here are the top 3 tips that I have for you for subject lines. First, you're going to keep it lowercase like you're writing a sentence, not camel case like you're writing a book title. So keep, except for the very first word, but you're going to keep it all lowercase. Second, I want you to make it casual, but keep it tight, not too wordy. And then third, I want you to think of it as a voice note, not a press release. This is not formal. You can be a little bit more formal in the body, but you want to get people to open your email. You can even use AI to generate, and I usually have it generate 10 subject line options per email. And then you can take and like mix and match until you get something that feels clickable to you. Take a piece from option 2 and a piece from option 4 and combine them, right? That's where you're really starting to add in your own personal flair and yes, you're using AI, but you're making it authentic and personal for you. Laura Belgray that I mentioned earlier, she actually has a fantastic freebie on this. I'm going to link to it. It's called Non-Sucky Subject Lines, and I'll make sure to put that in the show notes so that you can download that freebie if you want some help with this. Week 8, this is where you're going to do your platform setup and automation. Now, okay, this is the super unsexy part, but it's essential, right? Getting everything loaded, scheduled, and then triggered in your email platform. Personally, I use Flowdesk for sequences and Substack for my weekly newsletters. It's what works for me right now, but you do you. And here's what you're going to do. You're going to upload your welcome, your nurture, and your sales sequences. Set up your automation triggers, like when someone fills out a form, the welcome sequence will start. And then you just have to schedule your weekly or biweekly newsletters to go out consistently so you don't even have to think about it. Consistency doesn't have to mean hustle. With the right automations in place, it will feel like you're showing up even when you're out living your best life. Week 9. Now, this is the last week and where we're going to start to build our repurposing system. So, now that you've built the emails, don't let them just sit there. Week 9 is about taking everything you just wrote and now repurposing it across your content ecosystem. Each email could become 3 to 5 Instagram posts or stories. Your origin email could become a short form video. That nurture story could become a LinkedIn post, and that hot take or spicy opinion could become a carousel for Instagram, right? Like you just spent the last 8 weeks creating strategic story driven content. This isn't just email content anymore. This is a whole content goldmine that you can use for the whole next quarter. Now, if you're a paid member of the AI Queen Society, I have an upcoming workshop that's going to dive deep into this system. Plus, I've got a whole podcast episode on repurposing, and I will link to that in the show notes. But the bottom line is, you've just pulled out years of expertise straight out of your brain. Don't let it collect digital dust. Use it, repurpose it, and let it work for you everywhere your people hang out. All right. Now, let's talk about what success actually looks like with this system. Now, with this system, I want you to think past open rates, although those improved subject lines are really going to help. But it's more than just your open rates, right? I want you to look at reply rates because people are connecting with your stories and they are going to start replying to your emails or tracking your click-through rates from your strategic calls to action. And here's an unmeasurable metric that I really want you to track. You should actually enjoy writing emails again, right? So the real win here is that by Labor Day, you'll have 20 plus strategic emails ready to deploy, each one rooted in your authentic stories, but designed with strategic intention in mind. Now, the top 3 roadblocks I see and how to handle them. First, I don't have any interesting stories. No, everyone has stories. Start with your failures, your embarrassing moments, your everyday frustrations. Those are the most relatable. Second, my AI emails all sound robotic or sound like everyone else. This is a brand training issue. That means you need to feed your AI more of your actual voice, your real writing, and some of your personality quirks. And third, I've run out of stories. Well, the problem there is that you're not capturing new ones. I want you to set up a collection system for your stories and start noticing the moments that make you think, huh, that's interesting, like me at the climbing gym. So, while everyone else is panicking about content after their summer vacation, you are going to be the entrepreneur who shows up consistently, authentically, and profitably because you built your system during the slow season. But remember, you also have to be crystal clear on your brand foundation first, right? Like you need to know your voice, your unique point of view, your audience, right? Without that clarity, even the best stories are not going to convert. Here's the thing. I am only taking 5 brand to bot blueprint sessions between July and August because I'm going to be in major travel mode. But in just 90 minutes, we're going to clarify your brand foundation and create a custom implementation brand and a custom GPT to help turn your stories into strategic content. If you want your email empire built before Labor Day, DM me email empire right now and I will get back to you and we will book your brand to bot blueprint right away. And if you're a founding member of the AI Queen Society, Don't forget, you also get access to my strategic storytelling bot that's going to help connect these dots between your stories and your audience needs. That bot and workshop are coming to you this month in July, so keep an eye on your inbox. Until next time, keep collecting those stories, keep building your email empire, and keep reigning with AI. Thanks for listening to the AI Queens podcast. If you loved today's episode, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with a fellow queen who needs to hear this. Want more tips and tools? Join the AI Queens Society at aiqueenssociety.com and start ruling your business with confidence today. Until next time, stay bold, stay curious, and keep reigning with AI.